Let's take a look here at waffle time. Waffle time, man, I do love waffles. They're better than pancakes, they're better than French toast, they're better than crepes, barely, but better. And the components for this game are gorgeous. It's about building a waffle from AEG. Let's check it out. At the beginning of the game, players are going to get a card randomly that shows you where you place whipped cream, and you get a couple fruits that you can place on some random spots. You'll then turn this card over where you'll be keeping your syrup over the course of the game. Each round of the game, players will be taking these tokens, and these tokens are in turn order, and if you start later in turn order, you get extra syrup. But you can go to any open circle around the outside of the board, and you're going to be taking the two fruits that are closest to you. So this would give you a strawberry and a raspberry. After everybody has gone, whoever is the furthest away, you're going to be moving back here, which will set a new turn order. And then wherever the fork is, that row or column is going to get flipped over, and this is going to move one spot. And when it gets all the way back around, that ends the game. Now, players are taking fruit, and they're trying to form these shapes shown here. When players place fruit on the board, so let's say I have a strawberry and banana, and I place them here adjacent to each other, and you make one of these patterns. These patterns can be flipped or moved around or rotated. So you can see here there's a banana, and then two other fruits in between them that are not bananas. I have that right here. That lets me take syrup and put a syrup on each of these bananas. Putting a syrup on a fruit is worth a point at the end of the game. Having a syrup on a fruit that's on top of a whipped cream is worth 3 points. But there's even more than that. If you get different syrup patterns out on the board, you'll be able to take one of these butters and place an empty spot on your board. Those butters are worth 2 victory points. But also at the end of the game, you will get victory points equal to, here, for example, every 4 diagonal syrups, every 5 adjacent syrups. And these cards will change from game to game. Whoever has most points is the winner. I am amazed at how stunning the components for this game are. They are beautiful, and it is just a delight to look at on the table. Unfortunately, that is the only delight and good thing I can say about the game. Waffle Time is a typical game in many ways of making polyominoes, except it has this funky, hey, move around here, take 2 fruit, put those 2 fruit next to each other. You make these shapes, you then put syrup on them. That syrup gets points for you at the end of the game. But there's a lot of problems with it. The biggest one being it is absolutely stunningly boring. Secondly, all that moving around the outside and keeping your flow of syrup high doesn't really mean anything. You get some points in any game if you use up all your syrup, but that's really difficult. I think you should almost win the game if you pull that off. And then the blackberries, their polyominoes are easier to complete than everyone else. Once people figure that out, blackberries will always be taken. The turn order is important, but also not important. But at the end, you're putting things out, trying to score a few points. You get a few points at the end of the game, and you're like, what did we just do? Let's go eat waffles, which that's what I would recommend over playing this one. I just didn't like this one at all, unfortunately, so a 4 out of 10.